You know, when you make a movie, you should go into it with the intent to make the best version of that movie. If you make a comedy, you should be like, I'm gonna make the funniest shit ever. Make a sci-fi, you should say, I'm gonna make the, I don't know, most sci-fi shit ever. A horror movie, you're gonna make the scariest movie ever. You shouldn't go into a movie because the last movie I made was pretty shit. I need a hit to show Hollywood that the movie was shit because it was bad and not that it was me. You know? That's kind of the problem with this film right now. Yeah. I'm gonna explain why. Right here on this new series of videos I'm doing called Movies I'd Love to Fix. And, so, here we go. What time is it? Morbid time! It's Morbid time! On this here series, I'm going to be looking back at movies, both good and bad, that work in their own way, but are a few tweaks away from being perfect. Some movies are not perfect, but like fully functioning, and not always going to be a few tweaks. Sometimes it's going to be a huge series of tweaks. And the first episode I would like to do would be on a pretty topical one. I mean, it came out months ago, but it's topical to me. Morbius. Yeah, 2022's Jared Leto starring movie Morbius is what I would like to look back on and fix. So, for those of you who don't know, which is very unlikely, you know, what with the whole Morbius sweeps and it's morbintime spreading around the world like fucking wildfire, leading to Sony re-releasing the movie because they somehow misunderstood memes as genuine interest and liking for the film. Morbius was made and it came out in the cinemas. You know, everybody hated it, but loved making fun of it. And, you know, so on and so on. The basic premise is this. There's a guy named Dr. Michael Morbius who's got this disease. He goes out to find a cure using bat DNA. He splices it with his DNA and he gains bat powers. Now he's got to find a way to live with that. And then along the way, he's got to find some way to live with this disease whilst fending off his craving for human blood. Meanwhile, along the way, his buddy Milo, you know, he has the same disease. He splices DNA also. He becomes a villainous bat. They fight. The Morbius and Milo show. And not really. I mean, they fight for the length of, I don't know, man, a YouTube video, and it's really fucking hard to see. Then the movie ends with the dude killing Milo by stabbing him through the heart, you know, as you do any old vampire. There's this subplot about these two cops looking into a series of murders that they think Michael might be doing, but it's actually Milo. I should probably say something about that, but they're so insignificant to the fucking movie, you could probably delete them and the movie would play out the same way. No disrespect to Tyrese Gibson, he's great. It's just, this movie ain't great, and so rather than him raising the movie up to his level, the movie just sort of brings him down to its level. And that ain't great. I feel for the guy, man. He deserves better. Anyway, moving on. Now that's out of the way, you're all caught up. And, well, now we go into what's wrong with this movie. Why does this movie need fixing? Here are the problems with Morbius. Okay, problem numero uno. The casting of Jared Leto as Michael Morbius. Okay, I'm not going to say how to fix the problems now, okay? I'm just going to list what they are for now. I'm going to list the problems, and following this, I'm going to say how I would love to fix them, or how I could have fixed them, or, you know, shit like that. First off, the casting choice. Method actor Jared Leto as the man who turns into a vampire. Yeah, it probably sounds like a good idea on paper, but in practice, this is also the guy who was cast as a Joker and basically came out like a 80s pimp. What I don't think he was going for with the weird tramp stamp tattoos all over him. You know you're supposed to get a tramp stamp on your back, right? Not all over your chest and on your forehead. But anyway, I digress. Jared Leto's casting as the character, his performance as the character was... he was very whispery, very one-toned. Like you rarely, he didn't give off a lot of emotions, man. Like he was very much, I don't know, a doctor in the sense that he didn't have any emotion. It's like the guy was like a doctor doing surgery, but it was almost like he was doing surgery for the whole movie. Didn't crack a joke, didn't really give off any real emotion or but fuck, dude, except for outside of that one scene where he's like, I'm just kidding, it's Dr. Michael Morbius, after he says, I am Venom. Just oh shit. Anyway, that's problem number one, the very casting of, Jared Leto. Problem number two, the movie speeds through a whole bunch of stuff in the beginning because you think it's leading somewhere, and then once it speeds through how dude becomes a bat and what happens once he does, and then in the middle it slows down, like slows way down to show a montage of Michael getting used to his powers and, characters who were mentioned in the beginning, like the little girl, they aren't really brought up again after that little girl gets put into a coma and then she's never brought up again. Morbius' assistant, she's into this movie, but problem number three, Morbius' assistant, I think she's supposed to be the love interest, but they don't really give off that vibe. I mean, she's his assistant, and it shows that she cares about him, but whether or not he cares about her is hard to tell, to say the least. Like, I mean, she could have died on that fucking boat, but he bailed. He didn't even, visit the hospital to be like, I wonder how she's doing. Last I saw, she was unconscious on a boat full of dead bodies. And, okay, that's that. Problem number four, the villain. This isn't really a problem. He's one of the highlights. Matt Smith's turn as Milo in this film is one of the highlights of the movie, so I wouldn't... the guy is a guy who knows he's starring in a train wreck, so he's just having fun with it, But the thing is, the villain just comes out of nowhere. Like, he's not set up as a villain. If anything, the movie plays out in a way that wants you to feel sorry for this dude. I feel more sorry for him than I do Morbius, because, they both have the same condition, and they're both suffering, but, I feel more sorry for Milo because, Morbius was, some kind of genius and got whisked away to a school for really smart kids, had this whole career, and Milo got left behind, beat up, and he grew up to just be a dude living in a house with his surrogate father taking care of him. He's however many years old, still living with his dad. Just, I don't know, it doesn't sound so bad considering he's must be making buku type money, man. He must be rich to be able to finance all this shit, but damn, dude. He has a pretty sad life, but we never, yeah. And also, as a villain, he's kind of, this is also the problem. I mentioned the villain being the problem. Dude just is a villain just cause. Now he's cured, he doesn't need a cane anymore. Once he takes the serum, he's cured, doesn't need the cane anymore. And he's just, I'm gonna kill as many people as I want because, the movie needs an antagonist, so I'm it. This motherfucker's like John Doe at the end of 7. Oh, I guess I'm Envy then. In his case, he's like, oh, I guess I'm the bad guy. I'm gonna kill fools, problem number 5. Yeah, I think 5. Problem number 5 is there's supporting characters in this movie who do so little that when they disappear, it's like they were never there. I'm mostly just narrowing it down to the 2 detectives. They do so little, and it's like, I mentioned earlier, you could delete them and they wouldn't be there. Also, they only investigate Morbius because realistically the story needs them to. They don't have a lot of fucking evidence, man. They're lousy cops. Think about it. They just go to the Life Foundation. Is it Life Foundation? the Horizon thing, the Horizon building, and they question Morbius. Hey, they question Morbius. Hey, that would have been a better movie. You know, if this was Morpheus movie instead of a Morbius movie, that would have been a way better movie. But anyway, they go to question him, and they suspect him of having something to do with all the dead bodies at the that ship, even though they have no evidence saying that. You know, there's no evidence anywhere that says that shit. And besides, you think all these motherfuckers with guns were killed by this dude who needs two crutches to walk around? Are you for real, man? The only way you think that is if you know this is a vampire movie, then he might be a vampire. Otherwise, in any other realm of possibility, you wouldn't assume that the crippled guy was killing anybody. Shit, that's how Kaiser Soze got away with it. Work for Kaiser Soze, but with Morbius, they see through that shit. Damn, they must have watched The Usual Suspects on repeat down there. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So, now that I've addressed some of the movies, oh yeah, this movie, what the fuck is this? Problem number 6. What the fuck is this? Is this a Sony? Is this a Morbius movie that exists in its own universe? Is it in the Venom verse? Is it in the Amazing Spider-Man universe? What the fuck is this? Like, that's another problem that the movie's gonna lay out. So, now that I've listed some of the movie's problems, I am going to list how I would fix them. So, alright, here it is. This is how I'd love to fix this movie. Number 1, I mentioned casting. Don't cast Jared Leto. Cast, I don't know, literally anyone else who remotely looks like Morbius. I mean, cast fucking, I don't know, cast Keanu Reeves, man. He's pretty good. He'd have been a solid Morbius, dude. This movie would have been remarkably better if he'd been in it instead of Jared Leto. You know, just saying, I know Matrix Resurrections wasn't that hot, but, you know, you can't really put the blame on him for that one. I mean, you know, directors didn't want to make the movie. Studio made them make the movie, and it shows. When a director really doesn't want to do a film, it shows in the work. Plus, you know, he'd have been awesome fucking Morbius, dude. I know the last vampire movie he did, Bram Stoker's Dracula, his accent was kind of iffy, but this could have redeemed that. You know, if he was Michael Morbius, would have been awesome. So that's one way to fix that first problem. Cast someone else, maybe a Keanu Reeves, or, and this is my personal choice, I would have loved to have seen Benicio del Toro play Morbius, because for no other reason than dude kind of looks like him, man. I shit you not, Benicio del Toro, when he's got like that goatee, he kind of looked like Morbius did in his first appearance in Spider-Man. Because I remember reading that shit. I'm like, you know, damn, you know, this dude kind of looks like, you know, Benicio del Toro. Like, he could, and, you know, Benicio del Toro can play these kind of characters. He was the Wolfman, for fuck's sake. You tell me he can't be no living vampire? Shit, he could swat that shit out the park, no problem. Yeah, so on that front, recasting the guy. But if that's not an option, then solution, just surround the solution to the casting problem, if you can't cast anyone else, would be to surround Jared Leto with actors that, you know, don't just disappear and leave him as the fucking, you know, main thing that you're looking at, you know? But yeah. Oh, another thing I mentioned was that, let's give the assistant more to do. Okay, I'm gonna just rattle off all the problems, my solution in the form of a story. How would I fix this movie? Alright, so let's kick off right now. The movie opens with Milo and, you know, Morbius's kids, and, you know, Morbius fixes the little machine and shows like, he's kind of a genius, and he helps save Milo's life. First off, my issue with this fucking scene, the kid's name is Lucian. Why are you calling him? Don't have Morbius call the kid Milo if that ain't his name. Why are you fucking labeling somebody? It's like why are you calling me Milo? The last kid who was here was a Milo. The kid before him was a Milo too. It's just like that right away. It says, "Hey, I don't give a fuck what your name is. I'm calling you Milo." Also, it just says, "Well, the last two people who sat in that pit are gonna die, and I'm pretty sure you're next." So, hey, yo, pal, like just, and he does end up killing him. So maybe the last couple kids didn't die. Maybe he just murdered them or something. Like we don't know. And he's not. He is capable of it. But yeah. Yeah, so that, scrap that shit. Scrap the whole naming the character Milo. Just have his name be Milo. And yeah, he flatlines, Morbius saves him, and, you know, the story plays out just the same. I mean, pretty much the same. And, you know, we have these, instead of having that scene where dude is like, hey, there's a school we go to, I'm gonna send you there, and that's that. Have us in that moment, like have him say, what about Milo? You know, like, what's gonna happen to him when I'm gone? You know, show like some concern, man. Don't let it be like, hey, the last time I saw you don't give the audience the impression like, hey, the first time they met, you know, they became instant friends, and then dude fucked off for several years. When they came back, they were instant friends. It's like, you know, plus it also creates the impression like Morbius hasn't really thought about this dude since they last saw each other. So having this like one few second scene where he's like, what's gonna happen to Milo when I'm gone? You know, like what happens to Sozo? Also, it makes no sense for this doctor who knows this kid's name is not Milo to be calling him Milo. That doesn't, why is he doing that? That's fucking enabling bully behavior. Someone calling you a name that's not your name, that's fucking bullying, man. Whatever. I mean, he likes it, so I guess it's okay. I don't know. Oh, shit, man. I mean, there are people out there there are, like, doms who call their submissives little fucking whores, and they like it, so that makes it okay, but is that what's going on here? Although, no, it's not. Moving on. Also, when we meet the characters in the present day again, personally, you know, like, this movie was like, why are these... I'm just thinking, wait, why are these... I was kind of thinking, why are these two friends again? Why should I care about this relationship again? Because dude helped him that one time and left him a piece of origami that he got beat up over. Also, the fucking origami thing. Keep that. That's a good thing. You can make that a thing. If anything, do more with that shit. You know, like, you know how SpiderMan would leave little cards at the crime scene saying, from your friendly neighborhood SpiderMan. Have Morbius leave like little fucking paper origamis of like bats and everything at the scenes where he's been at. Make it his thing. Not when he's a hero going around town. Yeah, maybe do that. Maybe definitely do that. You know, just show like the detectives finding like, what's this? Like, it's a little piece of origami. Then they suspect like things are not what they appear here. So, alright. Moving on, you know, dude goes to meet Milo, reconnects with his father figure. Scrap that Nobel Prize segment, because all that does is... Oh, sorry, not Nobel Prize segments. Because all that really does is show dude's kind of a dick. You know, he was set to accept an award, and he even showed up, and, you know, he didn't accept the award. He left. At least that's what they say in the next scene. It's like, you refused your Nobel Award, like, just whatever. He's kind of a dick. Thing is, we're supposed to like this guy. He's our protagonist. You shouldn't dislike the protagonist unless the point is we dislike him in the beginning and he changes and we like him at the end. It shouldn't be a case of we dislike the guy in the beginning and we dislike him throughout. No, so make him a little bit more likable, you know, like just... if you must have the award scene, have him accept the award, and then just be like, you know, have him say shit like, you know, I didn't do this for fame and acclamation and awards or whatever. I did this to save lives, and, you know, this artificial blood I made is gonna do just that. It's gonna save people. That's why I did it. You know, there's plenty of people out there who need it, and, you know, need this kind of help, and now they can get it. You know, show that, yeah, Morbius is out here helping people. And don't just show one freaking scene of him with like talking to a little girl, and it's like, we need to put her in the car. Show him saving her. Don't just like, don't just show her like, oh, she got sick, she got really bad, so you put her in a coma, and that's it. If you must show her getting sick, show her getting sick, but then like as she's like slipping out, show him saving her, kind of like he did Milo at the beginning. Like show Dr. Michael Morbius doing doctor shit. You know, that's a start. Like he saves this little girl, and you know she's recovering. It's like have the assistant be like, she might not have lived if you hadn't been here when it happened. You know, she might have died or some shit. You know, like it shows like, yeah, he's a doctor. He does care. He saves lives when he's not fucking taking forever to get from here to the bathroom. But he's slowly dying. He doesn't have enough time left, and not you know, just have the artificial blood serve a purpose other than, oh, it's so he can feed without killing something. No, like personally, how I'd love to fix this: have the artificial blood be what's keeping him alive for now. You know, just while he's sick, while he's dying, have his disease be like he needs, like, I don't know, something wrong with his red blood cells, so he invented this artificial blood to help him, but it can only keep him alive for so long. Like Blade's cure in the original movie. Blade has a cure for vampirism, but it's only a temporary thing. It doesn't last. For him, it doesn't cure his vampirism as much as it suppresses it, and it only for a short period of time. So I would have the artificial blood suppress dude's like illness for a bit of time, much like later on it'll suppress his vampirism for a short period of time. And now he's finally figured out, like we see him doing these experiments, like, you know, David Banner at the start of Hulk 2003. Through these experiments, he's figured out that, you know, bats hold the key to that DNA. I mean, the DNA problem that he has. And we don't just see him, don't have him do one rat and that's it. I have a bunch of fucking experiments. We have a rat, we got monkeys, we got a bunch of stuff going on. Don't just test one rat. The rat lived! And then you're just like, okay, time to move on to human trials. No. Just, there, you do have time. You are not Norman Osborn. You do not have a board of directors breathing down your neck who will shut you down in a couple days. You do not have freaking Irfan Khan, you know, may rest in peace, threatening to shut you down and test people, you know, test innocent people if you don't test shit immediately. You know, like, you got time. You don't got a lot of time, but you got time, dude. Slow down. Actually test this shit on more than one rat. You know? Or at the very least, test a monkey. Yeah, we'll get a ridiculous vampire monkey scene later in the movie, but fuck, let's inject some humor into this shit. Moving on, so he does tests on the rat, tests on the monkey, and shit comes up fine. He doesn't stick around long enough to see them turn vampire, but they're fine. So he figures we need to move on to human trials. And not only that, we definitely need to take this to international waters because, not just cause, but because if we do it here, then, you know, we're breaking all kinds of rules. We might get arrested. They won't allow us to actually have a reason to ship this shit out into the middle of nowhere. Also, as other people have noted, this is like Filamento for starters on YouTube. And Filamento's great, by the way. Check out all of his shit after you check this shit out. Don't bail now. Just anyway. So he stated that there's a scene where Milo talks about owing money to some Russians, but we never really see these guys. We never see them show up. It's like, yeah, I owe money to some Russians, that's why I have bodyguards. But we never, why do you mention them if, you know, they're not going to play a point somewhere in the story? Why can't Milo just have bodyguards? Like, oh, you know, I need a bodyguard, like, just cause, you know, I feel safer with one, whatever. So have the Russians play a part, you know, have this ship, have them, like, track down, like, Milo's purchases or, like, his account or whatever to know that, oh, he chartered this ship. I mean, Milo's stuff to know that he chartered this ship out into the middle of nowhere. We're gonna go check this shit out. And if he's there, we're gonna kill him. If he's not, we're gonna kill everyone else on board to, like, send him a message. You know, have other antagonists in this movie other than just Milo at the end. So then, you know, the ship happens, yeah. Fucking Morbius injects himself with the thing, and he's out. Because in the movie, it's shown that when you inject the thing, you flatline for a bit, and then you come back. like as the nurse is preparing to is like reviving him, bang bang bang, the Russians show up and they're killing everybody. And they bust in, they think Morbius is dead, but then, like, because all villains are rapists, they try to take this woman and, like, have her away with her, or, take her as a hostage, and she's, like, desperately trying to get away. But as they're about to leave, like, dude wakes up, kills everyone. One of the things I liked about this movie is that initial scene where Morbius is dodging bullets, he's slashing at people, he's punching out the lights, and he's draining people. Like, it's like, in Batman Arkham Knight when you, like, jump from the top, grab somebody, and then disappear. It's kind of like that. Have that, but have, like, more of that, Show that shit from the guy's perspectives. Have a FPS scene from the guy's perspective where he's looking into the fucking shadows, watching people disappear and screaming as they get dragged off into he's just like attacking and ripping people up and draining their blood. I mean, don't show that, obviously. If you want to keep a PG rating, don't show that. But you do need to have scenes of where he's taking out guy after guy after guy. Until, okay, I would do this. Just have him take out guy after guy after guy. All the while we're following this one dude holding on to her. This is actually from a Spider-Man comic. There was this one issue where, this one prisoner had Captain Quinn's things, and he was like, don't come near me. I'll fucking kill him. And he starts freaking the fuck out, because Spidey's been slowly and, quietly knocking out his guys one by one, and now he knows he's the only one left. He's like, don't fucking come near me, man. I swear I'll do something. And then have Morbius swoop in as fast as humanly possible, or have a Batman Begins moment. Yes, absolutely have a Batman Begins moment. The guy's looking around with his machine gun and like, where are you? Where are you? And right behind him, Morbius says, right here. Ugh. Rip this motherfucker into this motherfucker's throat. That would be it. Yeah, that's how you fix that scene right there. The sister is knocked out in the ensuing chaos. She doesn't see dude after he's drained everybody. But, he's still kind of in that first feeding moment. He just fed off a bunch of people, but he's still kind of, hungry. And he sees this woman laying there unconscious, and he takes a couple steps. But he just manages to resist and pull himself away. Actually show him struggling to control his fucking urge to feed. Don't just say it. Don't just say that he's struggling to control his urges to this is vampiric side. Just actually show him no, and walk away from her and throw himself overboard to keep himself safe. To keep her safe from him. Not just, don't have him walk overboard and just be show him running to frantically get away. It's I gotta get away from her. I gotta get away before I hurt her. And he dives into the ocean. That's what happened in the comics. In the comics, when Morbius turned, he emerged and killed his best friend. He didn't want to. He didn't mean to do that. Michael Morbius wouldn't have done that. But when his vampiric side took over, after, it was his first feed, he was fucking thirsty, so he drained his friend. He immediately regretted it. And when he left the cabin, he knew oh, my wife is in this other cabin. She's so kind, compassionate, warm blood flowing through her veins. No, I can't think like that. And he threw himself over because of that. He would rather be dead than damned. He'd rather die than harm the one he cares about. Actually show that Morbius cares about her because he's willing to ice himself to prevent any harm coming to her. So he dives into the ocean, not just to get away, but it's in the comics, he lets the water fill his fucking lungs and he lets himself sink. Before he eventually just floats to the top and bah! Thing is, adapt the story from the comics. If you really want to fix the whole damn movie, just adapt the story from the comics. But swap Spider-Man for fucking Milo, No Lizard, just have Spider-Man be the main villain. And, have Morbius doing heroic shit. Actually, no. Yeah, have up until the boat stuff. Keep that exactly the same. And from then, you can do what you like. Then you could fix some of the movie. But anyway, this is how I'd fix it, not how it should have been fixed. But anyway, let's go ahead with the story. The boat crashes in the harbor. Cops show up. They rush the lead to the hospital. The detectives investigate what the hell happened. Don't just have the dudes show up and be like, man, it appears that he's had all the blood drained from his body. Actually have a forensics person investigating the body. And then the detective comes in and says that classic line of, what do we got? It's like X amount of dead bodies all over the boat. And it's like, it seems like they might have had a shootout or something. But it's the weirdest thing. All the bodies appear to be, it happens to, like, it's the weirdest thing. There's no blood. Like, there's no blood, like, in any of them. And it's like, oh, okay, so this is bizarre. Like, we need to really look into this. And, the one guy says, man, we haven't had anything this interesting since that thing in San Francisco, which insinuates that maybe Morbius is in the Venomverse, since he says the line about Venom, and the detective makes a line about, we haven't had an incident like this since the thing in San Francisco. He never says what that thing in San Francisco was, so, yeah. Have Tyrese Gibson find the origami thing, like, spotted somewhere, like how Somerset in 7 was able to spawn, like, those wood shavings or something, just have him actually look around like a detective, shining lights and everywhere, and he happens across this thing. It's like, interesting. So after that, Morbius will go back to his fucking lab, shut himself in, and, do tests and shit to find out just what it is that he has and how he's gonna deal with it. However, that's what happens in the movie, dude. Like, I wouldn't have dude just staying in some random ass lab doing this shit. I would have him out and around doing this shit. Just show a montage of him running on rooftops, like seeing how far he can jump. Show him, actually like miscalculate a jump and fall, only to catch the air current and glide. Don't just have him randomly catch a current and like glide through the fucking, tunnels and shit just cause, like he's always done that. No, show him through trial and error, learning like, wait, I can glide along the air currents like a bat, and show him learning his abilities through action. Don't have him just say, I have some increased hearing, like a echolocation and bat radar and blah blah blah. I have an insatiable hunger to feed on blood. Don't have him narrate that shit. Show that shit. Just have him. Thing is, the fucking Ghost Rider did a better origin story than this, and it had, when Johnny Blaze first turns into the Ghost Rider, he does Ghost Rider shit. He kills this demon, and then he drives out and kills this one criminal after judging him guilty. And not only that, but in that movie, we see Ghost Rider's powers used. We see his chain. We see, that fact that his very punches can do damage. We see his penance stare. And in this movie, we don't see dude show off his powers. We see dude explain his powers. So I would have in the fixed version of this movie, I'd have Morbius out and about, actually, doing vampire shit, just show how fast he is by like having him wham, wham, just whizzing past like traffic and whatnot, or jumping from rooftops, show how acrobatic he is by like, climbing up fire escapes and whatnot. Just thing is, we saw Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, his like ability is like, okay, this is how far he can jump. He can climb worlds now. He can do this. We saw that in action. He didn't like tell us, oh, I have these little hairs mean I can climb walls now. No. We saw that. So have Morbius do shit, jumping off rooftops, blending in with the shadows or disappearing into shadows. And, I love that heroes do this, but this may seem cliche, but let's have him stop a mugging. Yes, let's have Morbius just a good old-fashioned mugging straight out of like Ghost Rider. And then let's have him come down, like running on empty, and he needs to feed. Like, he really needs to feed. Plus, he sees this mugging happening, just like around the corner or something. And he zooms on over there, catches the guy off guard. And he doesn't really put hands on the guy as much as he just, zooms up near him which allows the guy to like pull a gun and open the fire with Morbius ducks showing his fucking dexterity and shit. I know we kind of get that above, but now we get it in practice because that was like a thing for survival. It was like, oh wow, like he just woken up. He had very little control over his abilities. Now he has some degree of control, and it's like, oh, this is how fast he is. Now that he's aware of what he's doing, now that he knows, okay, I've got these powers, this is how fast he can move. He dodges the bullets, disarms the guy, and then he feeds on the dude. And after he's drained the dude dry, he looks at this woman, and, you know, she's fucking terrified, you know, like, whatever, and he snarls out, like, Rah! The thing just... So we get the idea that, see, because in the Morbius movie, there's this questioning of like, hey, did Morbius kill these people? Because he did kill people before, so did he kill these people? Have him snarl at her and cut to black. We don't see what happened next. We just cut to like the next day, and we see the doctor waking up. The two cops come to question, and they ask, hey, what the hell's going on? And there's some questions like, why were you on, like, they actually ask cop questions, like, you know, morning so-and-so, why were you on that ship? And she, you know, she'll try to give them the runaround to protect Morbius, but, like, the cops aren't stupid. They know, like, yeah, but you're, like, but, like, we saw your file, and we know you work at the Horizon building with Dr. Morbius. You know, where is he? Where was he when all this was going down? And her answer, though she doesn't say he was there, her answer is sus enough that the characters are like, there's something more going on here. Also, they show he gives her this, you know, the bat origami thing. It's like, oh, we found this on the ship. Does this mean anything to you? And she takes a second to answer. She doesn't answer right away, like, oh, I've never seen anything. She like takes a second. It's like, oh no. Oh well, thank you for your time. The other detective was like, well, I guess we got nothing. It's like, nah, we do have something. She knows something. She knows what this is. And I'm betting that she knows what's going on. She knows what happens to all those bodies. So we're going to keep an eye on her. And also we're going to keep an eye on her to see what happens, like, when she checks out of here. Not only that, but they don't immediately go to question the fucking cripple on whether or not he killed people. They're like, we're going to keep watch for now. So... Also, in the trailer, there was a scene where Morbius goes to his surrogate father, the doctor, played by, I don't know what his name is. He was Moriarty in the fucking, you know, Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. So he goes to visit Dr. Moriarty, and he's like, you know, this is what's happened. I don't know if I can control it, man. Like, I've been having blackouts. Whenever I get really, really thirsty and I don't have blood, I have like these blackouts, and when I wake up, I'm, you know, like, I have no idea what's happened while I was blacked out, but I'm better now, you know. It takes control sometimes. I don't always have a lid on it, you know, because in the movie, Morbius would say that he doesn't have a lid on it, you know, he needs to feed on blood, otherwise he can't control himself, and yet we see him controlling himself just fine. Like, just have the character I would have Morbius black out, and when he comes to, there's just bodies everywhere. Say, for instance, in the movie there's a scene where he breaks the guy's hand, and he says that I am Venom. Like, just have a scene where Morbius talks about what happened when he blacked out. He said he was feeling really ill. His muscles that he gained from all his powers were just essentially degrading. His muscles were atrophying, and then he got really, really bad, and that's when the vampiric side took over. He lost control, he blacked out. When he woke up, there were dead bodies everywhere. Now, let's have these not be innocent people. These are bad guys. Well, but it doesn't tell us that they're bad guys just yet. Okay? So, after getting advice from his, you know, surrogate father, and he has the trail line, like, are you here to heal the world, or are you here to hurt it? We don't get an answer to this question because the cops, they show up to question the surrogate dad, like, hey, a ship that was purchased by, you know, that was chartered by so-and-so is in the fucking, you know, it's fucking beached in the harbor, and we'd like to come and question you about it. You know, have, you know, Milo be there, overhearing Morbius's conversation with this dude and knowing like, so he did find a cure, and then he fucks off to dude's lab to go get it. So, that way Milo has a reason to go to dude's lab. He doesn't just show up, and that shows that the cops are doing cop shit, questioning people who might know who Morbius is. They might know what happened to the boat, so they show up there, and we have a chase scene. Have fucking Tyrese Gibson and his partner chasing through Morbius, trying to like catch him, and they don't. Initially they see him as his like crippled self, and it's like, we'd like to ask you to come with us for questioning. And it's like, oh, I'm afraid I can't do that. I gotta. He tries to lead them away. He doesn't try to lead them away. He tries to like leave. It's like, I'm afraid, like, we can't, like, lie, dude. We need you to come we're gonna need you to come with us. Like, they don't arrest him, but, like, he flees, so he flees. He takes them down, not out. He takes them down with ease, and he runs. He escapes them pretty easily, because, like, they don't know anything at this point. Shortly afterwards, a news report comes out that there's been a bunch of dead bodies found around the area. One dead body was some low-rent guy found drained of blood, and the reporters have an eyewitness at the scene. She tells a story about, there was this guy, he came out of nowhere, and he tried to mug me, but then someone else showed up and he killed him. He killed him and drained all his blood like a vampire, and I thought he was gonna come after me next, so I ran. So yeah. It doesn't really say that Morbius resisted as much as it's like, no, she got away. She got away before he could, consider really doing anything about it. So then after that, he sees the news report that's like, okay, Morbius didn't kill that woman, but there is something out there. And like the cops begin to suspect there's something out here, and I think Michael Morbius is at the center of it, and he's the thing that we're looking for. The assistant goes looking for him, but in the meantime, he's looking for her. As it happens, Milo is back at the lab. He grabs the serum, shoots himself up with it, and, we see him flatline. He transforms, and someone comes to look for help, like, hello? Like, there's not supposed to be anyone here. Like, just have a random security guard. Like, in Hulk 2003, that security guard comes out and is like, there's nobody supposed to be in here. Like, who the fuck are you? And he kills the guy. Like, straight up kills him, drains his blood, and he like becomes ripped because of it. It's like, like, okay, now we have the antagonist of the story. They don't know about each other yet, but they're there. So from that point, Milo goes to exact his revenge on the Russians, because he knows that the guys who attacked his ship were the Russians that he was afraid of in the beginning. He tracks them down and he kills them all. He kills them all in these like vampire style killings, and the cops, thinking that Morbius is the only vampire, are led to believe like, okay, he must have done it. Let's put a manhunt. Let's issue a manhunt out on this dude. Put out an APB. Now the cops are looking for Morbius. In the meantime, not realizing that not all these murders are his doing. As opposed to having dude just kill a bunch of Russian gangsters, let's have some innocent people get mixed in here too. Like, say the Russian gangsters own a nightclub, because dude shows up in a nightclub later in the movie. Say that's the nightclub he goes to, it's owned by these gangsters, and he kills the guy. He kills the guy he was running to, he kills all his men, and while he's at it, he kills a couple innocent people too. Wrecks the whole fucking place. Have a nice, a big old slaughter scene. Bodies everywhere, limbs and shit. But you can't do that in PG, so we'll just have a scene where he launches one guy across the room, busts up the DJ table, and it's like, brrr, and he's just standing there, big smile, lunges forward, cut to the next scene, cut to Morbius or something, encountering the doctor, then, his assistant, and she helps him, she helps him get the artificial blood, because it's like, it's been blood that's been keeping me alive right now. If I don't, drink blood, I start to dishevel again and go back to my weaker self. And she gets that artificial blood for him. And also that she helps him gather all kinds of equipment that he can use to then diagnose what is really going on inside of him. Because he knows he's alive, he's fit, but what else is happening here? If he wanted to end it all, how would he? She helps him assemble all the stuff, get all these things. But then they find out that there's a manhunt out for this guy. There's a bunch of dead bodies at this fucking nightclub. Women and innocent civilians and, gangsters and everything. They were all killed. And she's like, did you do this? It's like, no, I don't think so. I don't know it's like, I don't know. Because he's been having blackouts. He doesn't know if he's the one doing this. But he knows, like, he could have. He very much could have. Because in the movie, we never got that sense that he could have been the one out there killing people. Even though he did kill people on that boat, he did kill people before and didn't feel any remorse for that. But like, this is a scene where it's like, I don't know if I did this. It's like, maybe I could have. It's possible. So rather than have dude turned himself in. Right? Despite having the machine and everything, dude decides to turn himself in. The cops don't jump him at the Acer building and he just gives up. No, he willingly decides, I'm gonna turn myself in. I can't, risk hurting people. I haven't fed in a while. This is getting really fucking intense. Let's have him run out of blood. Let's give him like steaks and shit. Like, there's a reason he wants to turn himself in, because they'll just, lock him in a cell forever and he'll never hurt anyone again. That's what he wants, because he's a good dude. He doesn't want to hurt people. He's a doctor. He wants to help and heal, not harm. So he decides, fuck it, I'm going to turn myself in. He finds the two cops and gives himself up. While he's locked up, there continue to be fucking murders. I mean, Milo comes to visit and, he basically essentially tells him, like, I killed those people. Like, I went to the club and I got revenge against these motherfuckers who wanted me dead, basically, because I, beat them in a game of cards or whatever. Like, there's a line about, like, all our life we've been afraid. Why shouldn't they know what it feels like? And then just be like, all my life, ever since you've been a kid, like, I've been afraid. Like, I've had a fucking hard time of things. It's about time the rest of the world feels my fucking pain. And he's not just going after the rest of the world for the rest of the world's sake. He's going to target people he feels wronged him. And along the way, he's going to kill some innocents because, we need to establish a fucking body count and show that this is a dastardly dude, who will kill as many fucking people as he wants. And he damn the fucking consequences. So then the knowledge that, wait a minute, it's like, you don't need your cane anymore. Keep that same dude leaves his cane and just have it be like, wait, he left his cane here, but he walked out. No, like he must have taken that serum with him. Or, here's a patch I forgot to mention. Dude goes to the lab, steals the serum, have him like smash a window, like a display case or something to like get it. And then when the assistant goes to like get the artificial blood from Morbius, she looks and is like, one of these cases have been smashed. It's like, did you go to the lab? Like, no, I found one of the cases smashed. And it's like, Morbius was like, there must be, I don't know, I think it did or whatever. Fuck that. Let's not have him be clueless. Like, she sees one of the cases smashed, but she's not here for that. She gets the blood, goes back to help him. In the meantime, she's the one investigating this shit. The cops think, hey, we caught the guy, there won't be no more killings. But she's investigating the shit because, like, she knows, something is up. Some of these killings, he was right there with me. So I know he didn't do all of these. So she continues to look around and investigate. Eventually, Milo finds out she's looking into shit, and he kidnaps her. He kidnaps her. And sure, if you must have the echolocation thing, have dude say, like, I basically say, hey, I got your girl, you want her? Like, you're gonna have to bust out and come get her. So then, Morbius willingly gives into his more vampiric side, and at the same time, can't just bust out for no reason. So he tricks a guard into thinking, like, he's really ill, because he is really ill. And he gets him, drains him, tosses him to the side, but doesn't drain him completely. He drains him enough that he's rejuvenated, but not enough that the guy is like dying or whatever. So he breaks out of jail, flies across the city, gets his big old coat, stops somewhere to get his big old coat, and, Milo is like, yeah, come on, you got us a showdown. It's like look at us, man. That conversation he was having in the subway, it's like, look at us, man. Like, we're beyond these fucking people. Like, they used to look down on us. Now we look down on them. They used to walk all over us. Now we step on them. They're beneath us, man. Like, and you still think you're human, man. Like, you're not. You're like, what? You're bitter. You're better now. We're better. Like, join me. Let me. Like, that's the both of us. It's you and me against the world, like always. And Morbius is just like, no, that's not what I wanted. I'd be like, I don't want to be out here killing people. You shouldn't want this too. And if you continue with this, I'm gonna stop you. It's like, bitch, please, you're gonna stop me? You're not stopping shit, man. They fight. You want your weird CGI lines following them around, to show like they're sailing and shit. Okay, have that, whatever. No, I don't have that. But shit, just have them using their claws and swiping at each other and tossing each other into shit. They have their fight in the subway, but like with advanced hearing comes like an aversion to loud noises and shit. So it's like, shh, the train whizzes past and it, it really bothers Milo, but with Morbius, it bothers him a little bit because he's kind of gotten used to it. Like with General Zod in Superman and Man of Steel. Like, Zod had just gotten these powers and he wasn't used to all the weaknesses. So Superman didn't fully utilize that to his advantage. So have Morbius do that. Like, have him take, the fight, throughout the city, going through all these different locations. Like, I don't know, have him at a bell tower where he, like, uses the loud noise to, like, momentarily stun Milo before, like, a couple of good hits or something like that. I don't know, that's just an idea I got, man. Shit, makes more sense than what we got. And, as for the thing, have, the fight play out, and, like in Venom Let There Be Carnage, let the cops get involved. Let Tyrese Gibson and them get involved. They come to the location with the intent of taking out these things that are fighting all over the city, causing all kinds of destruction. And, it's like, open fire, because thing is, they're both at risk here, because the cops are coming for Michael and this dude. They may not know this dude exists, but they know he exists now. So they're opening fire on both of them, Have Milo just mercilessly killing people, and Morbius is like, no! Tries to stop him. And as for that scene where dude has, that scene where dude drinks his girl? He, bites his girl to, like, give him the strength to fight back. Don't have that just cause. Don't have that just cause dude hasn't had a drink in a while and whatever. Have Milo beat Morbius to shit. Morbius was like, he just gets beat to shit because at the end of the day, Morbius has had the powers longer, but he's not a savage dude. He's not just fighting to kill. He's fighting to take Milo down. He doesn't want to kill him, but he realizes like he has to take him down or else he's gonna hurt innocent people. But the thing is, like, Milo isn't fighting to subdue Morbius now. It's like, oh well, you won't join me. It's like, then you're not with me or against me. I'll kill you now. So that's basically it. Fine, I'll be on my own, like I always have been. Show that, shit changed when you left. Like, when you left, you left me on my own and now you're leaving me again. So, I'm just gonna kill you. So whatever, he beats him within an inch of his life and he's laying there, he's almost dying. Meanwhile, the cops are trying to take out Milo and he's killing them off left and right. Basically, just picking guys up off the ground, taking off into the shadows with them. And Morbius is laying there desperately, like, crawling. The assistant comes up to him and she's like, you gotta get up. You gotta stop him. Like, he's gonna kill everybody. I can't. I'm not strong enough. Because Milo, even though he's new at the powers, he's fed on more people. He has more blood flowing through him and more energy. Morbius hadn't fed in a while. He ran out of artificial blood And like in the movie, that's not enough. Even if he had a bunch, it would satiate him, but only for a little bit. He needs that red stuff to really get him up. Really heal all his wounds and shit. She locks onto this, and it's like, out of artificial blood, it's not gonna do it. And she tells him to bite her. Like in Blade with that doctor. That was a good scene because it shows like you're the only one who can stop these fools, but you need to feed in order to get back to full strength. Feed on me. It's a case of willing to sacrifice oneself for the greater good. And the whole reason, he didn't, he's conflicted. He doesn't want to feed on the woman he cares about. It's like no, that would kill you. I could kill you if I don't keep control, whatever. She's like, you gotta stop this guy. Only you can. And he does. He feeds on her. And thinking he killed, he feeds, gets back to full strength, and she collapses in his arms. He does that Wolverine scream no! And you get all heroes do that when they think their loved one is dead. They just scream to the heavens. But then instead of being sad, he immediately looks back up and he has this look at Milo, and it's like, you. Now he's back to full strength, and it's like, all right, now it can be, an even fight, because it's like, they're both at the level of, I'm gonna kill you, because, dude, up until this point, has been like, I need to take this dude down, but I'm not gonna kill him, do no harm, or whatever, I only kill if I have to, and it's like, now I want to, because you were responsible for all this shit, you forced me to do something that led to the harm of someone I love. Now I'm gonna kill you. So they fight, go all the way down into the fucking subways and shit, and screw the whole I'm just gonna inject you with poison and call it a. If you really want to stab this motherfucker through the heart, grab a proper stake, have him rip up a street lamp or something to show how tough he is, and he drives it through the guy, just full on impales him. And as he's laying there dying, he slowly, Milo slowly turns back into his more human form. Morbius does the same. They kneel beside each other, and he's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry it had to come to this. You made me do it. He basically owns up to it a little bit of, it's all my fault. It's I just wanted, fuck that. Fuck that shit. So he just stabs him, he resorts to his human form, and he dies there. But then, in The Incredible Hulk, there's this light shining down. It's a helicopter, looking for them and shit. He looks back at the nurse, and then he thinks back on what he's done, and he leaves. That movie sort of ends with him running off into the distance, he scampers up buildings, he leaps over houses, weaving through cars, gliding through traffic and shit, before ultimately flying off into the night. Panning back, if you gotta have your sequel bait, have your sequel bait. Pan back to the lady to show the SWAT team arriving, be we got a live one here, cinematic. They pick her up, they put her in the back of an ambulance. As, they're driving away, the guy pulls out the blood pack, and he looks back, it's don't have her eyes flash open. When he reaches the blood pack, when he looks back, her eyes are already open, she's looking dead at him. And then, okay, have your sequel bait if you must have your sequel bait. But for fuck's sakes, man, do not, I repeat, do not have fucking Vulture just show up out of nowhere and just be like, well, I don't know how I got here, but I'm sure it has to do with Spider-Man, you want to team up, Jesus, man, the state of your universe, dude, to do some shit like that. No, don't do that. Just have the movie end. You really want to set up a sequel? Use the scene that I just mentioned, have the cop show up. We got a live one. And, they put her in the ambulance. As they get in the blood, she wakes up, send out oh, she's a vampire. That's going to be exploded in the sequel. Just shit. Have Morbius narrate as he's running off that he's going to like he's still like he realizes that he's a vampire now, and this is his curse. This is his is like his like I don't know, whatever. This is his curse, and he's gonna live with it because there's plenty of people out there who. I like Milo because not only throughout this story has he realized what his powers are and how to use them, but he realized there's a lot of bad people out there who do shitty things to shitty people, to shitty things to good people, and he's gonna hunt them down, not as like a hero, because like there's a lot of wrong out here. So he makes his mission to like I don't know, make him a hero basically. He's not a villain. He's just going out there trying to survive. But like if I gotta feed, I'm only gonna feed on people who got it coming. Yeah, so Morbius, like this is my blessing, my curse. Like I am Morbius, the living vampire. Go to credits. No vulture scene. All right, there's no fixing that. That scene is dog shit. All 3 versions of it. And if you must have tombs, have him be a prisoner in the fucking prison that Morbius is in. Don't have him be from another universe. Have him be in that universe as that universe's tombs. Just have him be like, you've been given a gift. Have that speech he had in the second trailer. You've been given a gift. You gotta learn how to embrace who you are. And that speech is what stirs Morbius to eventually. It's one of the things that stirs him to like get up and fight. Just to get up and fight Milo after finding out that Milo has this girl. And as for the reasoning for why Milo calls out Morbius, have him be like, nah, I can't leave him behind. Like, even though he's a piece of shit who's left me behind twice, I can't just let him rot in that fucking cell. Have it be more of a selfless reason as opposed to, I'm evil just cause. I'm calling you out just cause, Like, he was calling Morbius out to, like, try and get him to join him. It's like, yes, I got you out here. It's like, don't worry, I was never gonna hurt her. Don't worry about it. Like, I just wanted you out here so we can both be out here, like, killing fools. And it's like, nah, I'm not, that's not me. I'm not about that life, dude. It's like, what? Is it because of her? Like, it's because of her? You want to, like, throw away shit like this? You want to be, like, one of them again? And it's like, well, fuck it. Like, I can't have you, then she can't have you either. And, like, tosses her off a ledge or something, and Morbius has to dive and go save her. Should have added that in the fucking thing. But yeah, that is... in a nutshell, how I'd love to fix Morbius. Because, and you're wondering, wait a minute, what happened to that Moriarty guy? He died in the original movie. Is he still alive? Yes, he's still alive, motherfucker. Because Morbius is going to need an ally that he can turn to in the later film. If there is a later film. So he stays alive as, an ally. He's watching.